And then when you come to the delivery status under qualitative data, you have late or on time. And when you consistently check on time for your delivery company that you are using, then it gives you insights into the quality of a delivery company you are dealing with, right?
Okay.
So many masons, we have so many carpenters, we have so many dressmakers around. But you realize that someone particular mason over the other, because one, they may all be making nice buildings, right? But one would decide A over mason B, because with mason A, he's able to build work on my project on time. So that was by the time they, the market will think of increasing goods, he has already completed my project. But it's in the basic will tell you, I'll come in a week time or next 2 weeks. And before you realize, prices of goods in the market has gone more cost than you originally budgeted, right? So this delivery status over here, which we have late on time, it is telling us the quality of the delivery company, right? So with these two masons that we just spoke about, you realize that one works on time and then the other doesn't work. It doesn't deliver on time, even though they are all masons, they are good at their skill. But because one works on time, you associate like a quality to that mason. Or mason way there or yeah, deal. So if someone asks you, why do you think why are you saying that this mason does well? Then you go on to say that, oh, when I give him projects, he works on time. That becomes his or her quality, right? So think of quantitative data as quality. Is it of good quality or poor quality, right?
Okay.
And then when it comes to names of goods and other people, the quality is now separating Tobinco from NS Chemist. They are not the same. They are two different suppliers, right? Right. Then we move on to another group of data types, right? I mean, it's just the same, sorry. We have data types that we can derive meaning from them, right? So the first one, what we just covered is, yes, data by meaning. Sorry, we've not gotten to that point yet. Let me not jump there. Done. Right. So another, there's not another, but these types of data gives us insight into the data we are dealing with, right? First, we have discrete data. When we talk of discrete data, we are talking about data that comes in whole numbers only, right? No fractions, like human beings, right? You can't have 1.5 human being or 1.5 human being, right? You only have one human being. So when we talk of discrete data, we are talking about data that is a countable numerical value, and it is not fractions, or it doesn't have decimals. We are talking about whole numbers, and an example is human being, right? Then we also have numbers. Let's say you bought a bag of rice, or you bought 15 bags of rice. So that is a whole number, right? So these are some of the examples you can think of. Maybe you have a number of suppliers. So for your company, you have 15 suppliers, and then your purchase order is 120. The number of trucks that you use for delivery is 8. And then let's say the number of items that are damaged are 3. You can see that all these are in whole numbers with no decimal numbers. That is a discrete data, right? It contains of only whole numbers. So this is asking how many, like the question how many. So how many suppliers do you have? How many goods did you sell this week or last week, right? It is asking questions about how many. Then we continue to continuous data, right? Or sometimes we call it floating data, floats. So continuous data just, right? But if data, numerical continuous data have decimals, right? So let's look at the goods or the weights of so, I mean, when you go onto a scale to check your weights, you could see that sometimes you are 70.2, right? And then look at 0.5 days, right? And where the 0.5 means half a day. So you could say that maybe it took you 3 days and then maybe up to noon to deliver. So it took you 3.5 days. So where you see any number that has a decimal, then you should know that this is a continuous data. But when it doesn't have a decimal, then this is a discrete data, right? This helps us to know what data we are dealing with. Another example is time series data. There are some instances that time and dates become very, very important in your data collection process and in your analysis, or even the insights that you share, right? So time series data is data that is collected over a period of time at a regular interval. So last week we used Melcom as an example, right? So with how they are operating, they have everything passing through their system. It is recording the sales that they are making on each day for each month. Then it now comes to the whole year, right? So from this, they are able to predict what sales will be like during Christmas, during festive seasons, during, let's say, Valentine. So with this information, they are able to plan around that time, like stock, be fully stocked, because they know during these times, shoppers come around to shop a lot. So they don't want to run out of stock. They want to take advantage of their peak period to make sales. So data collected over a period of time would help you to make predictions, right? So this helps to identify trends, right, and patterns, and helps in forecasting opportunities. Like we just use the Melcom example. So let's say a monthly procurement cost, right, from January to December. When you plot this on a line chart, you could see whether your procurement cost keeps going up or down. Is it fluctuating or it keeps rising, right? So these are what we use time data for. Also, weekly inventory levels, right? Your daily sales summary, as well as quarterly. Who is writing on my? Anyway, never mind. As well as daily sales, quarterly supplier performance. So with this, some companies are able to award their employees or even their customers, because from the inventory, from the records that they have, they could tell that, okay, this person purchases more and at this time, right? So they are able to delight their customers during these instances. Hi, Timothy. Hi, Timothy. Do you have a question for us or you want to contribute? If not, kindly, yeah, thank you. Okay, so let's look at data types by their formats, how we can store them, right? So yes, we have text data. A text data. When we're looking at examples of data, we mentioned numbers, we mentioned videos, we mentioned texts, right? So yes, text data or data that is represented by a text. When we say text, we are talking about letters, right? We like the right data term to use is string. We call them string data, right? And this is just like the text data over there says, we use letters or characters to store them, right? So we can think of maybe a supplier's name, right? An example is Tobinco Pharmacy, NS Chemist. Why am I using pharmacy today? I don't know. Then we can think of ABC Logistics. When we come to region, we can have something like Greater Accra, delivery status, it is pending. So these are represented with numbers, right? Text data, string data could also be like IDs, right? Which could have both numbers and then letters. But since they are IDs, we call them characters, right? We don't look at them as numbers in that sense. That is why we are taking the time to look at the text data so that when we get into data management, data organization in the Excel spreadsheets, we wouldn't be running into issues, right? So we have the text data, which is represented by letters. Then we have numerical data, which obviously is represented by numbers, and these are used for calculations. So just like the discrete data and continuous data we mentioned earlier, they fall under numerical data type, right? So yes, you could have an example of quantity ordered, lead time, number of suppliers, and these are in numbers, right? These are in numbers, so we call them numerical data, right? Then we move on to the next. We have Boolean data, which it is used to, it has like two possible values, right? It deals with it answers yes or no questions as well as true or false, right? So you could have let's say the delivery status that we talk about under qualitative data. So you could dedicate a column on your spreadsheet for delivery status, right? And then the values within those columns could be yes or no. So when you're managing data or you're organizing your data, you could ask yourself, did this good get delivered on time, right? If it was delivered on time, you can take yes, you can select yes. If not, then no. So Boolean data has only two possible values. it's either yes or no or true or false, and sometimes 1 or 0, where 1 could mean true or yes, and 0 could mean false or no, right? So it represents a condition that is either true or false. That is its function. All right, so yeah, an example we have over here is maybe you are organizing data and then you are asking, was the contract signed? It's either yes or no. It cannot be both, right? You cannot answer, was the contract signed with a number, right? Even though these are text values like letters, it represents a condition. So this is not classified as a text value, but rather as a condition. So it is Boolean data, right? So yes, are the items approved? 1 could mean for yes, and 0 could mean, 0 obviously means no, right? And then we have the dates and time, right? And this is in relation to the date time series. So data that represents time on a calendar, right? Or actual time, like a tracking time. Then this is a date and time data type. So data type is used in time series analysis, and this is especially helpful for forecasting, right? To spot trends, to observe patterns in a data type, right? So you could have something like order dates, right? You ordered maybe on 1st March and it was delivered on 3rd March, right? So if you look at the duration between the order date and the delivery time, you could tell whether this delivery company is reliable or not. Let's say you are also delivering to your customers and you track the time the customer placed the order and the time the customer reporting that they've received the goods, or when you deliver the goods to the customer. You can look at the duration between the order date and the delivery date to see whether you are doing well by delivering your customers' items to them on time. All right. Any question at this point? Any questions? Okay. So if we have no question, we will move on to see why this classification that we just looked at matter, right? Are we here? I want some chaos so that I know that I can be heard.
Yes,
Yes,
madam.
yes, madam.
Yes, I like the chaos.
Yes, ma'am.
All
I have a question.
I
have a question. I have a question.
Wait,
Hello?
so when I ask, yeah, hello.
Yeah, ma'am. I have a question.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Yes. So, with the earlier explanation between the qualitative and then the category, the quantitative and the category, I want a further explanation between the mode of payment for the qualitative, the quantitative, and then the qualitative, and then the category, the mode of payment. Further explanation.
Andor, could you please come with your question again? I think I lost you, so I didn't quite catch your question.
I said,
Hi.
I want a further. Yeah, I'm here. I can hear you. Can you hear me now? Madam, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes. So I said, between the qualitative and then the category, the data, I want a further explanation on their mode of payment. I didn't quite get that place very well. The mode of payment for the quantitative, the qualitative, and the category.
Please type your question in the chat because I keep losing you. So I'm not too sure. I didn't catch your question. So kindly type it in the chats. That means I'll have to go. All right, no problem. If anyone also had
Yeah,
this
madam.
question, you can. Yes.
So, if I heard him correctly, he said
Yes.
he needs a further explanation between the qualitative and the quantitative, their mode of payment.
The mode of payment for qualitative and
and
oh, okay.
quantitative.
Okay. So basically, let's go back to the slide. All right. So give me a second. Let's go back to that point. Right here, right? Okay. So forget about the examples over here, right? The examples that we have under them. Forget about them for a minute. Let's get this and then we can come back, right? So for qualitative data, we are talking about quality, right? Your name is one of your qualities, right? Your
Yes, madam.
age is also a quality. So your age can determine whether you're a young person, like. Okay, my question is, can you explain further for the mode of payment for the category and the qualitative? Okay. All right. So what you need to understand is the difference between the two, right? So we have qualitative data and categorical data. With qualitative data, it describes the characteristics and qualities of the data you are in question, right? So it helps you to understand if you're talking about quality, maybe it's of good quality or it's of poor quality, right? Then let's look at categorical data. With categorical data, we are putting it in groups, right? So like I mentioned, that your age is a quality. Yes, maybe you are, let's say you are 30 years or 25, it's a quality. But when we want to categorize this group, we can put you in, let's say, a young person group, like the group for youth. Let's say we are organizing, we are putting ages in groups, right? We could have youth, right? We could have adults and maybe senior citizens, or we could have teenagers, right? So your age, let's say you are 18, then that puts you in the teen group. If you're like 30 years, that makes you what? A youth, right? And if you are, let's say, 70 years, that makes you an aged, right? An adult, right? So when we look at the payment method over here, right? So let's say we have payment methods such as MTN mobile money, bank wire, or what else cash, right? So what did that person use? That person used cash. It's a quality, right? But when we come to the categories, right? We now put them into groups. And as I'm sure as we move further, you'll get a better understanding. So, right, if we are putting them into groups, let's say we have cash, bank transfer, and mobile money. And we want to plot to see which of these, right, is the most used payment method by our customers, right? So you can plot and you see the number of customers that use cash, number of customers that use, let's say, bank transfer. So that becomes a group, right? A group for payment method. And that would give you insight into the preferred payment method of your customers. Does this offer some clarity on your confusion?
Yes, madam.
Okay. All right. So let's move on to where were we? Yes. So we are trying to understand why data classification matters, right? So just like we saw between qualitative and quantitative, we saw that with quantitative, we can perform calculations on them. So with items like amounts, numbers, maybe you have something like delivery time, right? So you could say that, let's assume you have this rows of let's see this data, right? So let's see if we can identify them. We have ABC logistics. What type of data do you think this is? Yes, Richmond. Hi,
Hello,
Richmond.
madam.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, madam. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, that type of data is qualitative data.
Thank you. That's qualitative data. So it's giving you who your data is. It's giving you insight into who your supplier is, right? It is telling you that, okay, this, let's say number 202. So this ID is associated with ABC Logistics. And then this one, the next one is associated with Prime Suppliers. Those two are not the same. Can you add ABC Logistics to Prime Logistics and get a reasonable answer? I mean, can we add letters together? Okay, let me rephrase my question. What is if I ask that what is 1 plus 1, what answer would you give me?
2.
That was very easy. That was very easy to answer, right? Okay,
Yes,
then
sir.
if I ask, what is ABC Logistics plus Prime Suppliers?
ABC Logistics time supplies.
Plus Prime Suppliers. Can you have an answer for that?
No, madam.
No. Unless algebra.
Randolph, let's hear you.
Yes, we can give an answer to that depending on the situation. Because if, for instance, we are told that ABC Logistics delivered 72 containers and the other one delivered 74. So when you add what ABC delivered and the other supply agency delivered together, then we can have it.
You have brought this context. I asked a basic question without any context. So you are supposed to answer the question within the context that I asked it. I asked,
Madam,
what is 1
he's
plus
taking us
1?
deep.
What is 1 plus 1? That is 2.
Yes.
It is easily calculatable, but you cannot calculate ABC Logistics plus Prime Suppliers, right? So
Okay,
knowing the difference between hi.
I'm saying
Madam,
on
we're
the
not foreseeing something.
we cannot.
Randolph, let's say.
On the face value of the name, you cannot add.
Yes,
But
that's what.
information
Don't add the bats. Don't add the bats. It's not got into bats. I didn't ask whether ABC suppliers has 74% and those ones, so you should put them together. No. Right? If we get there, we are going to see that, oh, okay, so of all our suppliers, we made like 1 million. It cost us about 1 million to procure goods from these suppliers. Gilbert, to answer your question, let me finish this. Right, so if the question is we spent like 1 million Ghana cedis on procuring goods and stuff, right? And then we have all these suppliers, 21 suppliers. Then we can say, we can look at how much we spent on each of these suppliers. How much did we give to these suppliers to get our goods? Then we can put those together. And even that, we are putting the numbers together and not the, what do you call it? The names, right? So bottom line is you cannot add qualitative data. What you can do is to maybe count. Yes, that's what you can do. You can count. So the numerical function you can perform under supplier name is to count, right? So here we can count the number of suppliers that we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Right, I think I saw Atlas somewhere. There's no Atlas kit. So that makes it 20. So we have 20 suppliers. But to say ABC Logistics plus Prime suppliers will give you what? Within this context, you can't add them. But if I ask you what 25 plus 13 would be, then you can give me an answer, right? So identify or knowing the difference between the data types will help you to know which analysis you should perform, right? Is that clear? Let me look at the charts. Okay, I don't think I have any charts. This one is read off. All right. Hello, can I be?
Yes, madam.
Hello. All right, sure. Yeah.
Madam, we can hear you.
All right, sure. So yes, the whole point is that we should understand the different data types that we have, right? And between structured and unstructured data, you can work more, right? You can perform you need special applications to do your analysis on, right? But with structured data that are organized in spreadsheet like this, it is easy to analyze and then work with. So yes, when you also know it'll tell you first the analysis you should perform and then what charts you should use, right? So if you have something like order dates, which we'll be looking at very soon, but I'm just hoping that someone gets to answer this. Why is have something like order dates, delivery dates, anything associated with dates? What chart type do you think is best to visualize this? Yes. Is there a hands up? I can't see my. Okay, give me a second. Okay, I assume there are no questions on that. Yeah. So with this, the question I asked about chat types, we'll be looking at those in another session. But today our focus is on data, right? And since we've covered this, I will really welcome questions. Yeah, let me just talk about these two reasons why data classification matters, and then I'll welcome some questions. Yes. So when you understand the data types you are dealing with, it also helps you to improve on the decisions that you make. Let's look at this column. This is supplier name. Let's just put maybe sales personnel there, okay? Let's say this data is coming from Melcom, and these are the salespersons that they have, right? So they have salesperson A, salesperson B, and salesperson C. Let's say Abigail, Rita, and David, right? So salesperson Abigail, right? When you look at their daily summary, you could see that probably Abigail made a sale of 28,000. And Rita made a sale of 12,000, right? And David made a sale of 19,000. So understanding the data types that we have over here can tell you that, okay, Abigail is bringing in the most money, is bringing in more money than Rita and David. And David appears to, Rita appears to be pulling in the least sales. She's making maybe 12,000, while the others are hitting 20, over 20 and close to 20,000. So as a business owner, one decision you could make is to look into why her sales are not matching, like it's not like the others, and maybe offer support, right? How does she relate with her customers, right? What's the experience she gives her customers that is making her not make so much sales, especially if they are all in a balanced area, right? So as a business owner or as a manager, anyone dealing with data, when you have records like this, it tells you the kind of decision you should make, right? So if Rita is consistently making poor sales across all the shops that you send her, then if after numerous workshops she's not delivering, then they want to change her position. Maybe she's not fit to be in a client-facing role. So you move her to maybe a place where she should be arranging the goods on the shelf, display the goods on the shelf, right, with your data, right? So, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, madam.
Yes, madam.
Right. So, anytime before you make any analysis, these are the questions. This is what you need to ask yourself. What data type am I working? The type of data that's the analysis that you should make. And it will also make your data for the right purpose. Okay. So without further ado, let me ask if you have any question whatsoever up to the point that we covered. Do you have any questions? Hello?
Hello, madam. We can hear you.
Yeah. Any
Madam, we can hear you now.
Hello?
Yes, now we can hear
Hello,
you.
madam. We can hear you.
Internet is messing with me today. So do you have any questions for me or we can move on?
I think we can move.
Okay. So the idea for today was to run through data, right? And we have done that. And since we have enough time, right? We are supposed to close at 3:30, right?
Yes,
We
madam.
have enough
Yes.
time. We have enough time to actually look at how data is organized, right, in spreadsheets. So I would like us to go to, yeah, let me just give me a second. I'd like to introduce you to some spreadsheets applications that we have. And the focus for our studies is going to be on Excel and Power BI, right?
Yes, please.
In the world that we are in now, most of the times we are working remotely, we are collaborating with other people, right? So let's use the time that we have now to look at the Google Sheets, right? We'll see how we can put these data that we've talked about into Google Sheets. And I say Google Sheet because it is easy to collaborate with people on, right? Unlike Excel. Excel, you have to be on a paid version, and with the option to collaborate is you have to go through a lot to collaborate. But with Google Sheet, it's very easy. We will look at Excel, but for the fact that we have more time left, I want us to look at Google Sheet so that you are familiar with that as well. Is that okay?
Okay, madam.
All right. So let me share my screen. Then we'll look at how we can get, okay, I'm right now in my drive. Let's close that. Let's close this, let's close this, and let's come here. Okay, so if you use Google to browse, if that is your browser, and if you do have a Google account, right? If you have a Google account, you have all these things given to you for free, right? So when you come into your browser, when you look on the right-hand side, you can see Google Apps, right? When you click on it, it depends. I have arranged mine in this way. I've put the ones that I frequently use over here. I don't want to scroll past, so I just want to grab them from here. So yes, you can find Google Sheet over here, right? And then you can also use the search bar to type Google Sheets, right? And that is going to open it for you. When you see the logo, you just click on Google Sheets and then it will take you there, right? But since I already have, I don't want to go through the process of signing in. But yes, this is for those who, I mean, when you are using, you have a Google account, a Gmail account, the easiest way is the first method that I showed you, right? You click and then you click on the, is it 9? Yeah, 9 dots, and then you look for Google Sheets. Normally you find it somewhere here, depending on how you formatted your apps. So yes, I'm going to click on Google Sheets and we'll look at how Google Sheets, we can manage data in Google Sheets. So this is the interface. You have blank sheets, then you have some templates available. If you've worked on some, you have them over here. So let's click on blank spreadsheets and we'll talk about the interface. And if you use Excel a lot, you'll see that this is very, very similar to Excel, right? This is similar to Excel. Okay. So this is Google Sheets, or let me say welcome to Google Sheets, or welcome back to Google Sheets to those of you who already use the platform. Let me know if you are familiar with either Google Sheets or what do you call it? Excel, any of the spreadsheet applications. Let's show by hands. Okay. All right. Okay, cool. One. So this is Google Sheet for you. What do we use it for? We use it to manage and organize data, right? So let's say we want to collect data on the students that we have in the class, okay? So let's name this. So over here, this is where you're going to name your spreadsheet. So let me call this BSc procurement and supply chain. Okay. Okay. And when you come into a spreadsheet, you have first of all the space for you to name your spreadsheet. And I recommend this a lot. Anytime you're working with a file, make sure you name it so that when you want to record that file, it is easy for you to get it back. Don't leave it as untitled, it's quite unprofessional. So you have the logo over here, which will take you to the home, Sheets home. And then you have the file over here. When you click on it, it tells you what you can do with the file. If you want to go into a new spreadsheet, you can click over here. It will take you to a new spreadsheet. If you want to open the file, you can open that. If you want to import, right, you can do that. If you want to make a copy, it's easy for you. If you want to share with others, you can do the same. If you want to email it, right, they are trying to make our lives easier. So let's say you are working with someone on these spreadsheets, or you are working with someone, you've organized some data, you want to send it to them, and within this file, you can actually mail it to them without going into Gmail or whatever mail it is. You can download it, right? So these are the options to download it. You can download it as Microsoft Excel, as an open document, as a PDF, as a web page, as a comma separated value, and as a tab separated value. So comma separated value basically means that it's going to export your sheets with commas between A and B, A, B, C, right? It's going to use commas to separate them. And if you selected a tab, it's going to use tab to separate them. Then you can add this to your drive. You can move it to trash, right? If you move it to trash, it's going to stay there for 30 days. Then this is the version history, right? This is exceptionally helpful if you're working with other people on what do you call it? On the same spreadsheet. So it tells you what was done at what point in time, right? So you can make this available offline so that you can access it even if you are not online, if you don't have internet connectivity whatsoever. This also gives you details about the spreadsheet, like when it was created and so on and so forth. Then you have the security limitations and settings, a whole lot. And then you can print it over here. So you can click on this and then forward it to a printer, and then it's going to print it for you. So those are just the options or the things you can do when you click on the file. Then you come to edit, right? You can edit it. There are so many options, just like we have in Microsoft Office. You can undo, redo, cut, paste. Even you want to paste. So yes, there's cut, there's copy, there's paste, then there's paste special. All these are you can paste them in a special way using this. You paste the values only. If the item you copied came with a formula attached, it's going to take the formula off and paste only the value, right? And then we have format only. Maybe you bolden it and you want to copy just like that. It's going to maintain the formats for you. Then formula value, conditional formatting, data validation. So this is very, very helpful when you are sharing and you want to ensure that the right data is entered. Right? I think so far throughout the world, data is for 7th March 2026, but in the US, they go like 2026, they go year, month, and day. So 2026 March for the day and then the year. So you can use the data validation option, right, to formats that you want. Then we have the view option. What do you want to show? Do you want to show the right? Then we have the header, right? We'll come into entering data in there. Then I think the options that we have or the features that we have would make sense to us, right? So over here, you can choose to freeze row 1. When you freeze row 1, let's freeze it. So let's go to the view and then let's try to freeze up to row 1. So you can see this thick gray line under row 1. It means you can scroll down and up and you still maintain row 1. Row 1 is not going to change. Let's say you are working on the data. This is for name, this is for location, and you don't want to keep going up to get what each column is for, right? You can freeze it and then you're moving up and about and it still maintain it for you. Okay. Then we have inserts. So you can insert into the cells, and these are what we call cells, the individual cells. And then we also have rows. So rows, it's hovering from here, let's say here, right? Let me highlight it. Okay. Let me come down and highlight this one. So this is a row. I've highlighted row 5 and everything on that row is highlighted. So row runs horizontal and vertical. They keep missing. I keep missing them up.
Horizontal.
Yes. So yes, rows are horizontal and columns are vertical, right?
Yes.
This is a column and this is a row, right? But within the highlighted parts where I am right now, that is called a cell. Right. So today we have seen what a column is, what a row is, and what a cell is. Right. Let's see what we have. Yeah, so for here we can use them for other data analysis functions like pivot tables, like charts. Maybe you want to select these parts and put them in a chart. All right. I want to go over this before we start entering the data. And then you can also insert a link. You can also insert a checkbox. You can also insert a drop-down emoji. There are plenty of things you should see. I know that when you are learning something new and you see all these features, you feel overwhelmed at some point in time. Or you feel like there is a lot. But that's one thing I have found useful in learning new things. And that is keyword, right? Keywords. I found them very, very, very useful. You come into an application and you don't know what to do. But sometimes what can help you is a keyword, right? So you come and then you see something like link. So what does link mean to you? Without looking at the context or the platform that you are in, at the mention of link, what does it mean to you? Yes.
So, Madam, I have,
Yeah.
let me try. So it's like a connection that links you or that leads you to another page or site.
Right. Right. So that is it. All what I want you to understand is that sometimes what will make your learning journey easier are keywords, right? Just as you explained, link is link, and that is what it means. Okay. So before you even start to feel overwhelmed or confused and frustrated, look at it from the face value. What does it mean to you, right? Then it sort of gives you some understanding. Then you can build on that. Okay. All right. Okay. Then we have formats. Okay. So just like I just said, what does format mean to you? Formats, to format something. What does it mean? Yes, format.
Madam, to clear that data from your system or your computer.
Okay, to format. All right. To clear that. All right. Any other?
To arrange, to arrange or put into. Yeah, to arrange or put into.
In a particular order, right? Or a
Yes.
particular way that you want it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
So
yes,
yes,
please.
yeah. So format basically is when you say you are formatting something, right? It's like you are putting it in a way, or you are designing it in a way that suits you. Okay. But yes, the guy's point also comes in format to clear something away, but that's not it's bias. So the first thing is to bring it down to what that keyword means for you, and then what it means on the platform, right? So that you don't feel overwhelmed with all the names and features that a platform has. Then we come to data, and this has got to do with the item you have over here, right? So what you have in here, you can sort them. You can create a filter. When we are creating a filter, that means you are taking something like an unwanted part out. You just want to see what you want to see, right? So you filter to take away the unwanted parts, and then the only thing you want to see remains. So yes, that is filter for you. Then you can create group by view. You can create filter view. Then you can add a slicer, right? As we progress in the program, we are going to understand these things better, right? Then you can validate your data. You can clean up your data. You can split your data, right? So let's I think I should be doing this. What do you think? We can be splitting our data into two. So let's say we have let's say for here, let me use whose name do I have here? Emmanuel Adai. Okay. I have Emmanuel Adai over here. Hello. Did someone mention my name? We have Emmanuel Adai over here, and let's say we want to split the name into two, right? So we go to the data function, and then we are going to split the text that we have over here. And then it will detect automatically. But we can choose to, let's choose detect automatically. Let's see if it performs well. Data to column, split. So the separator is, we want it to detect automatically. It couldn't do so. What separates Emmanuel from Adai in the text box, in the cell? Is it a comma, a semicolon, period, or a space? Or there's
Space.
another? Yeah, so let's try it using the space. Let's see how it goes. All right. So you can see that it has split them into two. Emmanuel is in one column and then Adai is in another column. So let's say we collect your names on the platform, Michael, Darkon, Gilbert Champon, but we put all of them in one cell. But we want to see the first name in one cell and the last name in another cell. Then the split text becomes functional for us. Okay, so let's undo this. Right, so there are so many things to look at over here, right? And this is just like Excel, but Excel has a lot of features, a lot of advanced features. But a good thing about Google Sheets is that most of the advanced thing you could do in Microsoft with a paid version, you can actually get it here for free, but not all, right? Okay. So let's come here. This is the undo button and this is the redo button. This is the print button where you want to print and then paint to format. Then you have the zoom size. At the moment, this is at 100%. You can set it to 90%. It reduces it. But make sure you always leave it at 100% so that if you're sharing it with someone else, they'll have a clearer view, especially if they don't know how to manipulate it so that they don't have a hard time. Then we also have the currency sign over here. That means if you have a number over here, I could write 1 here, 1, and maybe 5. All right. And then if I highlight all this and I click on this, it's going to format it as a number, as a currency. So I just wrote 1, 1, and 5, but because I use the format as currency feature, it has formatted it into like an accounting number, a financial figure for me, a currency. Maybe you don't want that, you want to express it as percentage. So it gives you 100%, 100%, 500%. What about decimals? You can express it as decimals to reduce the number in there. You can over here increase the number in there. And maybe we simply want to express it as a number, right? So you can choose a number. All these are functions you can perform under the number. So you can decide this is a date. Maybe let's format it into Ghana cedis, right? Just because we are Ghanaians. So these are things you can do over here. You can select the fonts that you want over here. And then let's say you want to increase. Oh, font type. what is it, or decrease it, right? So plus for increase, minus for decrease. You can bolden it, italize, and then you can strike through, right? And then you can choose to what text, what color the text should look like. Let's give it red, right? And this is different from the fill color. Let's give this, I don't know what color is this, purple, okay. So you can see that the text color is red and the font type, the fill color is purple, right? So you can take this off by choosing the standard and then choose black. Then I'm good to go. Okay. Maybe you want this to align to the right. You can choose this, but technically in spreadsheets, numbers align to the right and text go to the left. You should take note of that. But you can align it to whatever position you prefer, right? So these are, you can align it to the middle, up and down, right? And then over here, you can wrap the text if especially the space provided is small, right? If it's something like this and you can't see, you can wrap it. You can wrap it in the middle. Let's see. You realize I can't increase it again because it is a wrapped, it is wrapped. So let's see. It has enough space. We do this when we're printing something very long. Let me put something that really makes sense over here. So let me say Sophie is a boy and Amina is a girl. All right. So you realize that it didn't go through this. It didn't go vertical, right? It has jumped to the next line because of this feature, because of the text wrapping. Let's wrap it this way, let's see. And I think we aligned it vertically before. Okay, sorry. Right, we can align it to the middle just so we have everything. It changes position as you do whatever you want to do with it, right? Right, so that is that for the text wrapping. You have more functions over here. So yes, the link we saw under insert, you can do it over here. Then you can insert a comment, especially when you're working with other people. So right, using the comments feature. And then you can insert a chart. You can create a filter. You can filter the views. And then now that we've talked a lot, have we covered everything? No, not yet. So these are the column headers, right? A, B, C, D. These over here. And then when we come down, I think we've gone through columns and rows, right? Okay. But before we look at the plus icon, yeah, Emmanuel.
Madam, I just want to know, can you perform VBA in Sheet? I mean, on Sheet. Hello, madam.
Can anyone hear him? Or it's my network?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Hello. Okay. Yes, Emmanuel.
So I was asking if you can perform VBA like we do in Excel. Can you perform it here?
VBA. Yes, you can do that. Yes, you can do that. But it works in Excel. It works in Excel.
Oh, okay.
It works in Excel. So yeah. Yeah. Okay. So yes, we were talking about this. So we have the plus feature, but before we look at the plus feature, let's look at this over here. So you can see that currently we only have one sheet over here, which is labeled sheet 1, right? So let's change this. Maybe we want to collect a lot of different data, but we want to name this one class list. So let's name this class list, right? And then so we can put in here all the names of, okay, let's say names, name, and then gender. I align this thing to the left, right? I like to keep column headers in the middle. But if you want to keep it at the right or leave it for the application to decide for you, that's fine. But I like to put it in the middle. So let's highlight this so that it stands out. Then we increase the fonts. So let's say we have Michael and the gender is boy or man, right? Oh, let's use male. Then we have, let's say, Emmanuel. The gender is male. Then we have the ladies. What are some of the names that we have over here?
Juliet.
Alfreda.
Alfreda. Okay.
Benedicta.
Okay, so let's go for Alfreda.
Angela.
Alfreda. And Alfreda is female, right?
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Okay. Then what else?
Angela.
Mavis.
Angela. Okay. Angela, female.
Yes. Sharifa.
Okay. Sharifa. So what we are doing now is just basic data entry, right? We are just entering data. Let's see that by the end of what I do, let's see if we can get any meaningful insight from here. So I can see Richmond. Let's add Richmond. And we can call this male.
And Paul.
Any other? Paul. Female. What else?
Paul is male.
Come again.
Paul is male.
Oh,
Paul is male.
okay. All right. And then what else? Let's get to maybe like 11.
Juliet.
Homepa. Yeah, Homepa and then Juliet.
And is it Alfreda? Oh yeah, she's already here.
So Homepa is male, right?
Yes.
Is Homepa male?
Yeah,
Yes,
he's
so
a male.
maybe I don't want to write male because maybe I'm feeling too lazy, or Excel, spreadsheet makes it easier for me to do the same thing without having to type. So I can hold on to the corner. You see this blue corner over here. When you take the cursor close to the corner, to the circle at the bottom right corner, and you drag it, it's going to fill it for you. I only dragged it up to those points, but it's already suggesting if it should fill up to this point for me, right? And I'm going to reject that because I don't want it. And let's look at another cool feature, another simple thing we could do. Juliet is female, right? let's type female. And at the hex of F, it's detected that in this column, these are the values that I have, male and female, male and female. So as I have written F, it has intelligently predicted that I'm about to write female. So it has populated the rest for me, and all I have to do is hit enter, right? Let's try another person. Give me another name.
Paulina.
Paulina. And then I'm going to try, and then you see just the one in black is what I type F, and then it populates it for me. All you have to do is hit enter, and then it is good to go. Okay, so we've collected we have a few data over here. Michael male, Emmanuel male, Alfreda female. I mean, is this telling us something at all? It's not telling us anything, right? All we can see is we have like names and then gender. But we can actually gain some insight into this, right? Let's see the gender composition that we have, okay? So I'm going to select from gender up to female on row 11, right? And then remember there's an insert chart over here. So let's choose insert chart and let's see. Wow. We didn't plan the number of male we're going to have and the number of females we're going to have, but it appears that with this few data that we collected, we have 50% male and 50% female. Is that true? Let's count and see. We have, so from 2 to 10, 2 to 11 is 10, right? Minus 1. If 1 to 11, then we know it's 11, but this is not included. This is just the header. So minus row 1, we know we have 10 people. So it appears that we have 5 females and 5 male. Let's see if that is true. Let's count the male. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, did I 5, right? And then let's count the female. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't think we intentionally decided to do this, but at least we know the percentage of the gender composition of the list that we just created, right? So we have 50% female and 50% male, right? So it's even given as a number, which means 5 of them are female, 5 of them are males. Interesting. Maybe you don't want a pie chart. You want something else. So let's click on these 3 dots to edit the charts. So you have chart type, pie charts. You can click on that and you can choose something else. So this is what it has suggested, and I agree, because when you are dealing with two groups, just 2 groups, 3 groups, or 4 groups, pie chart is ideal for you. But when you have like 5 different groups, right? 5 different values, 6, 7, then you might want to look at other things. So let's look at these charts. And we can see with the column or the bar charts, they're about the same, right? 50%. Okay, let's add 1 male or female to see how it's going to affect the charts. So give me any other name.
Benedicta.
Benedicta and female. So you realize I didn't do anything to the charts. The mere fact that the data we have over here has changed, it has automatically adjusted to reflect the change we have over here, right?
Yes, please.
So yeah, so you can see that over here we have 6 females, and then 5, because this is between 4 and 6, exactly between 4 and 6. But if you want to edit it to show the details, you can actually do that. So let's go to customize. And when you come here, you can choose to chart title. So the chart title is count of gender. So we can edit it and make it gender composition. Let's say GCTU BSc BI class _ gender composition. Okay, and I'm imagining some of you wondering what this underscore really means or what it is doing over here. Most applications, some applications do not recognize spaces and so on. So we use, like in real tech watch, deep tech, we use symbols like underscore, dash, the ampersand to separate values. But if you are sending this to like a lay person, a stakeholder, your business executive, you can actually edit it so that it sounds more English, like more formal. So I can make it gender composition of GCTU Bachelor of Science BI class. And I think this title makes a lot of sense. I mean, because it's in plain English compared to the what do you call it? The ampersand, and then so these are things that we can do. It's all about formatting, right? You can format that in technical today. We just want to see how we just want to see the things we can do with spreadsheets. And then under series, you want to show the data that we have over here. So let's click on let's see what we can do with the value. We've shown it. If we click on none, it will disappear, right? But I want to click it because we don't want people guessing. If you want to see a trend, you want to use a trend line, you can insert it. So you see that, okay, so the line starts from here and then it goes up, right? You can actually choose maybe red for the trend line for it to show more, right? Let's look at grid lines. So we have, I think the grid line is automatic over here, right? Let's choose gray or black. Let's see. All right, that is if it's important to you. So these are things you can do with your charts, right? And if you don't want this chart and want something else, let's go back to pie chart to see. Right, so before when we had 50-50, it was a perfect split. But now that we've added 1 to the females, we can see that the shape or the composition of the chart has changed, with the male having 45.5% and then the female have, and when you hover, you actually get to see the numbers in there as well as the percentage. All right, so we started entry data with no we didn't have any structure. I mean, we didn't have anything in mind, any purpose in mind. We just said, oh, let's put together a few lists just to see what we can have. And we decided to put it in a chart, and this is what we have, right? So you can put this chart away. And let's say we want another sheet to collect another data in there. So that is where we use the plus sign to add another sheet. When we click on add sheets, it gives us a fresh sheet to work on. So look at this particular spreadsheet we are working on. This is a worksheet, right? A workbook, sorry. Look at it like a workbook with pages, right? So this is like page 1 of this one sheet in your book, and this is another sheet. And you want to change the name, you can double click, it will highlight it, you hit delete or backspace, then it deletes, then you can type your new value, or you can click on the arrow over here, drop down, and it's going to tell you, it's going to give you more information. So you can delete it, you can duplicate it. Let's try duplicating with this sheet. Let's see how it goes. So you can see copy of class, right? This is a class list, and then this is a copy of class. It has copied exactly what we had in the class list, right? You can also move it around. Maybe you don't want it here, you want it somewhere else. You can move it around. We don't need this. We are going to delete it. It's always going to warn you, right? So yes, if you have any other information you want to record, you can record it in this sheet. And then you have like a centralized system for your data, right? So far we've looked at data types, what they mean, and how they affect our analysis, right? And then we've also looked at the interface of a Google spreadsheet. We've looked at some of its features, and we've done tiny little data entry with a little bit of formatting and one visualization, just to see how we can manage data in a spreadsheet application, how we can analyze it, and then what we can visualize it. So back to the numerical and the quantitative, the text that we're talking about. Okay, I think our time is fast spent. We'll cover that extensively in our next session. Right. But at this point, do we have any questions? Hello?
No,
Can you hear
madam.
me at all? Okay,
No,
all
madam.
right. Okay. All right. So this wasn't like exactly what we have to do, but I just thought since we have some time, let me just run you through the application. So by next week, we will move into data management in Excel, which is a focus, one of the focus tools for this program. And then we will see how we can use Excel to manage data. And if you are yet to get yourself familiar with this application, hey, interesting. You know what? Let me share the wow, I was breaking at a point in time. Okay, all right. So let me share the slides with you before we go. I'm having a challenge setting up my learning management system with Ghana Telecom, but I'll have it resolved, and you'll have you have all these materials in your workspace. I mean, on the dashboard when you visit the learning portal. Is that all right?
Okay, madam.
All right.
Yes, madam.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let me quickly share this with you. Okay, sometimes load. Okay, that should be up in a minute or less. Okay, so please do well to go through them, and you can go on to YouTube to watch resources on in fact, let me share a direct link with you. Second, I'll share a direct link with you so that you can look at it in okay. Okay. So I've shared the slides with you as well as a YouTube link to get familiar with Google Sheets. It's a very nice, in fact, all the Google applications, it's really good to have that under your belt because you may go into a workplace and they use Google Sheets. So yeah, if they use Excel, then you have, I mean, Excel skills, and then you have Google Sheets. If they use Google Sheets, you know you are good over there, so that's you'll be able to fit into whatever applications the company will be using, right? And your learning shouldn't stop here. You should learn, like, own your learning journey. Read a lot and stay current. Like, when you notice anything trending in your field, right, your area, you can read about it just so that you are grounded professional. All right, so if there are no questions for me and our time is up, then we'll draw today's curtains, the lesson on today's, the curtain on today's lesson over here. And don't hesitate to reach out to me when you need support with anything, right? Okay,
Okay,
thank you
madam.
so much.
You're welcome.
I'll see you next week
All
or
right.
whenever you. All right. Sure.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.